Hello everybody, Simon here. And in today's training video, we're going to talk about the patented 8-point program by emGuarde. And the goal of this video is to train and coach you guys how to present the 8-point of emGuarde powerfully. It's very, very important because if you can present the 8-point with power, with clarity, that's where people actually come in and join you in the business. All right, so let's dive right into the 8-point. And for your info, the 8-point program, we always talk about it being a patented program. It makes a huge difference because many companies out there, they change their compensation plan after some time, when they realize that, gosh, we're paying too much money. But emGuarde has decided to patent it. That means this program has not changed in the last 30 years. So it's really, really powerful. So what makes emGuarde different? So let's talk about getting involved in the emGuarde business. What makes it so different? Now, as we know, to get involved in the business, all you need is to become a user of the product. The emGuarde, it could be the K8, it could be the Ukon product, the multiple products that emGuarde has. So a customer can actually choose to refer a machine to their friends and family and become a distributor. There's absolutely no joining fee, no renewal fee. And these are things we have to talk about because in a lot of direct marketing companies, people pay a ton of fees and renewal products, and they buy products every month just to maintain their distributorship. So this is one of the strong points of emGuarde. And point number 4, no stocks to keep. Have you ever talked to some people that have been involved in network marketing and they complain, that every month they have to buy products more than what they can consume? They have a cupboard filled with products and they expire and wilt away. And that's very common in the network marketing industry. That's the ugly side of the network marketing industry that people don't want to talk about. So the great thing about emGuarde is there's no stocks to keep. When we invest in the emGuarde, the Kangen machine, we only invest one time and we use it every single day. The company doesn't ask us to buy a machine every month or even every year, right? So it's an incredible thing and we need to really talk about it. And number 5, there's no monthly sales qualification. Again, all these points are so very important because in most sales companies, you need to either buy products every month or hit certain quotas every month to get your bonuses. But once you understand what the 8-point program is all about, every time a distributor sells a machine, they get their high ticket commission. All right. An advancement in your commission scale is based on cumulative sales to date. So the more machines you and your group and your organization accumulates, the higher your commission payout. And in today's training, I'm focused on the emGuarde. All right. And it's a global business. All right. I think that's why we're here, because we want to be involved in a global business. So how does the emGuarde 8-point system actually work? Now, we have to understand that in this company, there are just 2 types of sales, just 2 types. And the first type of sales are your direct sales. So people that you will be marketing and selling to directly. Okay, the people that you're bringing directly. Now, the great thing about the emGuarde 8-point system is the moment that they own a product, they can also start to market the emGuarde to their friends and family. So when they do that, that's what we call indirect sales. Okay, so you have your direct sales and you have your indirect sales. And when you total these 2 things up, we call it group sales. So this is very important for us to explain because we're going to be using the word group sales a lot in our 8-point presentation to our prospects. All right, so this has to be really clear so that they follow you along the way as you explain the comp plan. Got it? Okay, so direct sales, indirect sales equals to group sales. You have to put this really into your mind. And let's look at the emGuarde commission. So the 8A or 8-point commission. Okay, so out of every emGuarde, emGuarde allocates a budget of $640. So I want you guys to really understand how the 8A works. It is as if whenever an emGuarde is sold, the company comes out with this celebration cake because you sold an emGuarde. So there's a celebration cake, and this cake has 8 slices. Just imagine it's a cake, okay? And 8 slices of this cake, okay? And this cake constitutes $640, $640 US for the distributors. So as I mentioned, there are 8 slices. So if the whole cake is $640, one slice of the cake, or we call it 1A, is 80 US dollars. So far, so good. Okay. So this is a very simple concept that you can drive home with your prospects as well, because sometimes numbers freak people out. When you give examples, slices of cake, it's easier for them to follow. So keep that in mind when you're presenting. You can use cake, you can use pizza, whatever, right? So 8 slices. So how does it actually work? So when you get in to become a distributor, the first 2 direct sales that you do is what we call a 1A sale. Okay? The first 2 sale is what we call a 1A sale. That means first and second direct, company pays 1 slice of the cake, which is $80 and $80, which is a 1A commission. And the moment you get to your third sale, that's where the company promotes you to a 2A rank, and that's where you start to earn $160. So remember, the more machines, the more emGuardes you market, the higher your commission. And this is where the third rank is where you really need to explain in detail so people understand. It's called the 3A rank. So the 3A rank means your direct sales commission per emGuarde is going to be at $240. Now, how do you achieve a 3A rank? It says achieve 10 cumulative emGuarde group sales. So we remember, what is the meaning of cumulative? Because cumulative means there is no resetting of the sales. Now, a lot of network marketing companies out there, what they do is, example, in January, you did, let's say $50,000 of product sales, example, and you hit a certain rank, okay, and you make a certain amount of money. Now, the moment you go to February, everything just restarts back to zero, and you have to just climb your way up and hit that $50,000 again, or even $100,000 to get higher commissions. So that's what we call flushing out or resetting and all that kind of stuff, which is very common in the network marketing industry. Now, all right, so that's why I've mentioned it's so important to actually show people and let people understand what is group sales. Okay, now let's go to the next rank, which is called the 4A rank. Now, the 4A rank means you achieve 20 cumulative group sales. Again, the word is cumulative, which means once you're at 3A, you already have 10 units in your organization. And for you to get up to 4A, you need another 10 on top of your existing 10 to make it total 20. And then the next direct sale you do, you start earning $320. So this particular slide, all right, is purely on how much commission is paid on direct sales. Okay, the indirect sales commission is not in this slide. It's the next slide. All right, so don't mix the two together. All right, so some people, they tend to mix the two things together and people get confused. Don't do that. Segmentalize it. All right, so talk about the direct sale commission and then talk about the indirect sale commission. Okay, so once they hit 50 and now they're at $400 on the next sale, and once they are at 200 now, because emGuarde has a sales value of $1,480. If you're only marketing emGuarde, you need 200 cumulative emGuarde group sales to get yourself to 6A. Okay, but in the next couple of videos, we're also going to talk about how you can actually do that with half the sales when you start to also market the Kangen machines and the Wukon together. So that's for a different video. So this is only on the emGuarde. So once you're at 6A, then your direct sales commission is at $480 per unit. And one thing to note about these ranks with Enagic, the moment you hit 6A, let's say you go on a 3-6 month holiday, whatever, you come back, you are still a 6A, which means there is no demotion with Enagic. And that's big. You know, most companies, demotion, and then because they want to really push people to keep on working. But Enagic, it's your business. If you want to make $1,000 a month, go ahead. If you want to make $10,000 a month, you go ahead and do that. So that's the beauty about Enagic. No demotion, and the rank only goes up, it doesn't go down. And it's something that you can build, you know, as fast as you want, or for some people that decides to take it slower. Okay. And then the next part. So this is the part where we talk about the indirect sales. And remember, the indirect sales is the gold mine of the Enagic business, because we talk about leverage. Okay. So later I'm going to break it down into a different types of income. So when we talk about direct sales, it is our active income in Enagic, meaning you prospect, you get them onto a call, or you get them on a meeting face to face, you close them, you get a direct sale commission, active income. Now, what is indirect commission? Indirect commission is actually something called, what I like to call, leveraged income. Leveraged income, which means you build a team of people going out there marketing the emGuarde. And the moment they sell, you start to earn a commission as well. So let's dive right in. So when we talk about your first two sales, remember, you're going to make a 1A commission, which is $80. And on the third sale, you're going to start to make $160 because you're 2A. Now, the moment Tom, a good friend of yours, let's say, you bring him into the emGuarde business, and he says, look, I love the emGuarde, and I'm going to start to talk to my friends about it. I want to become a distributor. And Tom goes out and sells one emGuarde to Grace. Now, how much commission, indirect commission, does emGuarde actually pay? emGuarde actually pays $80 to you when Grace buys an emGuarde. Take a look at the top right corner of the slide. It says there, green denotes your commission. So for this slide, forget about how much other people are making because everybody follows the same 8-point system. We're talking about how much you are making, the person on the top. Okay? So take a look at that. And this is where I really also want to drive home an idea because if you or your prospects or whoever is watching this video, you've been involved in any form of network marketing, multi-level marketing, in fact, real estate industry or even insurance industry, you would know whenever you sell a product or service, you make X amount of dollars. But the moment your agent or your downline sells the product, your overriding would be a percentage of their income. I hope I'm making sense to some of you guys, right? But in emGuarde, when you sell it to Tom, you make $80. And when Tom sells it to Grace, you make another $80. It is 1-to-1. That is where the power of the 8-point system is. And a lot of people don't realize that. They think the 8-point system is only about direct sales. No, the 8-point system is about the indirect sales. And this continues. When Grace continues to sell all the way down, you keep on earning $80. So how deep does it go? Remember, the company, every emGuarde takes out $640, and that is the slice of 8 slices of cake, and it is paid and divided throughout the distributors. So on the first case scenario, if everybody just keeps on selling the emGuarde one by one, okay, so let's say when it goes to the 8%, then it runs out because one emGuarde, 8 slices of the cake or 8A, okay? But we're going to look at another example later on. And it's going to change your perspective, okay? So let's say you bring in a lady, her name is Kim. She buys the emGuarde, you make $160, and Kim goes out and sells 3 emGuardes to Ali, Abu, and Ani, okay? Now, because Kim is under your 2A line, your overriding commission is no longer $80. It is $160. So this is where we need to let people know that the higher rank they sponsor a distributor, okay, the higher the indirect commission. So that's why a lot of people, they just come in with 3 products, 2 products. Because why? They want to fast track themselves to a 2A rank. Because when Ali, Abu, and Ani buys, the overriding or indirect commission is $160 each. Incredible. Okay? So if you look at this, if you calculate the 4 direct sales that you have done, okay, Tom, Alex, Rose, and Kim, that's 4, right? How many indirect sales have we done? 6, right? So if you look at 4 plus 6, you're talking about 10 group sales already. So the moment you have 10 group sales already in your organization, you do another direct sale, that's where you rank up to 3A. Remember, a rank up from 2A to 3A or 3A to 4A only happens when you do a direct sale to open up a new line. And the requirement is the group sale requirement. So once you are at 3A, now you start to earn $240. So what happens when May, that is on your 3A line, starts to sell the emGuarde? Every emGuarde May sells, you get paid $240. Take a look at that. That is the power of the 8-point commission. So let's talk about Kim's group. Let's say Kim's group continues to sell, continues to grow. Now, every single unit, you're going to be overriding $160. Okay? So how deep does it go? And this is the part where we need to understand with total clarity in order to show the people how transparent and fair and generous emGuarde's 8-point system is. So let's take a look at this example. Let's say John, right? The John all the way down there, many levels away from you, sells a emGuarde to Don. Okay? So Don purchases an emGuarde from John. John is the first person to get a commission. And how many A does he get? Well, how many slices of the cake does he get? He gets a 1A commission because John has only sold his first product. So remember, out of every emGuarde or every unit, there are 8A commissions. So let's look at how the commission actually flow. And for you to understand the 8A commission, just remember these two things. Only 8-point commissions or 8A commissions, nothing more, nothing less. Number two, the commission is paid bottom up. Once you remember these two concepts, you have mastered the 8A commissions. Okay? So John has taken or being paid the first A commission. The second person that will be paid is Bob. All right? John's upline. So how many A's does Bob actually make? The answer is 2 A's. Why? Because John is sponsored under Bob's 2A line. Do you guys see that? So whatever John sells, Bob gets to get 2 A's. Okay? And the next person is Ani. Ani gets another 2A. And Kim also gets another 2A. So when we look at this, from Don's emGuarde, there are 8 points to be paid out. Okay? So 1 went to John, 2 went to Bob, 2 went to Ani, 2 went to Kim. So 7 A's have been paid out to your team members. So what does that mean? You are left with the balance 1A commission to flow to you to the top. Okay? So for a sale that is so many levels away from you, you still get paid $80. So do you guys see that? So you get paid 160 all the way until a certain level, it becomes 80. Why? Because of the 8-point system. It's very fair. It's very transparent. Second sale John does, same thing. But when John does his third sale, now remember, when he does his third sale, what happens? He's no longer a 1A. He's been promoted to a 2A, and he makes 2A commission when he sells to Dan. Bob gets 2, Ani gets 2, Kim gets 2 as well. Okay? So when these 4 people below you has already gotten all the 8 A's, how many left for you on top? 0. So this is what we like to show. This is what we call a non-8A sale. And a non-8A sale do not count as a group sale, which means for you to go up in rank, 3A, 4A, 5A, 6A, you need group sales requirement, right? The non-8A sale does not count into it. So when we are starting off in this business, what we want to do is to make sure that we have our accounts placed correctly. You know, we talk about strategies in other videos, and then we want to bring in as many direct distributors and customers as possible because we want to grow our rank. So the question is, some people, when they see this, they're like, oh, you know, the money has stopped. Okay. But the thing is, we must always look at the bright side. The fact that emGuarde has this 8-point system in place, it means emGuarde tells us exactly where the money is going to, who is getting the money, and how deep they pay. And because of the 8-point system, they will never, ever overpay distributors. Okay. So that's why the company is more than 50 years old. Okay. So another question we have to ask people is this. Look, for Dan, the commission may have stopped, but do you think Kim, do you think she'll stop selling? Or do you think she'll open up new lines? Answer is she'll open up new lines. Do you think Ali, Abu, Bryce, Ben, Rose, Alex, all these people, if they continue to open new lines, what does that mean? It means your overriding continues to grow. Because the emGuarde 8-point system is not a left and right binary system. It is a tree. It is a Christmas tree that goes as fat as possible on the top and gets even fatter when it goes down. So that's the beauty about the 8-point system. Okay? And then what do you need to do? We need to continue sponsoring. Now I've been in the business as we're recording this video, 9 coming to 10 years, and I'm still bringing in new people. So let's say I bring in somebody on my 4A, Tony. When he buys an emGuarde, I make $320. Can you imagine if Tony sells 10 emGuardes? I'll be making $320 times 10. That is $3,200. Okay? And we have to sell it to our new distributor that they can have a Tony in the city that they're living in. They can have a Tony somewhere else in Singapore, in the US, in Canada, in Australia. They can have a Tony in India, and they can have multiple Tonys in their own country. It is unlimited how much commission that they can earn. It all depends on their effort. And once they hit 5A, now every unit is $400. So again, if you find a guy named Simon, and if Simon sells 10 units, how much do you make? $4,000. And what do you have? 3 of these guys, 4 of these guys, 5 of these guys? You got to really paint the big picture. All right. And after 6A, all right, it is $480. And now every sale is $480. So this is how the 8-point system actually works. So if you're able to really show the power of the the direct and indirect sales, and make them understand that this business is not about selling something and making a commission, because that is what a salesperson do. In Enagic, with the 8-point system, we are business owners, and we grow our business by growing our human franchise lanes. You know, I look at this just like a franchise-like business. This is not a franchise, by the way. It's not a KFC or McDonald's, but if you look at it, it has all the elements of a franchise. You bring in somebody, you give them all the training, you give them the tools, you give them the know-how, and they start duplicating, and you keep on earning from that lane, and you keep on looking for new lanes. Okay? So that is the 8-point system, ladies and gentlemen. Now, when we talk about the emGuarde commission, there are 2 types of commission. Okay? So if you have an emGuarde account, the 1A commission is actually $65 for 1A. Okay? So every A is $65. However, the moment you have a Kangen account, your commission becomes a higher commission, all right, of $80. So let's take a look at what is an emGuarde account. emGuarde account is basically you only own an emGuarde. You started an Enagic business and you only have an emGuarde and you start selling emGuarde. All right, so you could be making $65. But the moment you position your accounts and you open up another Kangen machine account or an Ukon account or an Spa account, as long as they're under the same name, let's say Simon comes in with an emGuarde, Simon buys an Ukon, a K8, or an Spa. Now both my accounts are now Kangen accounts. All right. And now every emGuarde in my organization, with my direct or indirect, has increased by 29% to $80. All right. So again, why you need to set this up, strategy is in another video. We're going to talk about that as well. All right. Because these are the 3 products, and every single product in the company, all right, is going to generate us tremendous amount of commission. And more importantly, the 3 main products we talk about is going to enrich the lives of our distributors that are coming to this high ticket business. We look at the Kangen Ukon Sigma, the Kangen Water K8 machine, and the emGuarde, and they have an average payout of between 40 to 50%. All right. So I want you guys to understand that, you know, this 8-point system is the reason why the company has grown so large and so strongly all around the world. Because when you go and watch the next Marvel's movie, example, right? I'm a big Marvel fan. So you watch the next Marvel movie and you love the movie so much. You love the movie so much. And what are you going to do? You're going to be talking to your friends. And the thing is, your friends are like, oh, really? The movie was so good. And then they go to the cinema and they watch the movie. And the question is, when you refer them to watch the movie, does the cinema pay you a commission? Do they pay you a referral fee? No. Okay. So same thing. Let's say you go to a very good restaurant and it has the best food in your city, and you refer tons of friends over to the restaurant. Does a restaurant give you a referral fee? Answer is no. But in Enagic, the reason why it has grown to the scale that it has grown today is because of the 8-point commission. We get rewarded by telling people about these products. We get rewarded by telling people about this business opportunity. Okay, so this is it from our 8-point training today. And I hope you've gotten a lot of value. And share this video with your team members. Get them to be 100% dialed in on the 8-point. Understand the whole system. Understand what products pays how much commission. Because there are a couple of different products, and Enagic is going to be introducing new products into the company. Master that. Show it to your downlines, and let's grow this business to the next level. My name is Simon, and I'll see you at the next video.